Over 1 million animals have been discovered on our planet, yet only humans have established civilization. According to the theory of evolution, humans evolved from apes. Based on the same logic, could the other animals also develop into our intelligent counterparts? First, let's take a look at this picture. It was an illustration in a book published in 1965. This image is iconic, but is also misunderstood in many ways. At first glance, you see a lineup of 6 figures. At the very left is an ape-like figure, crouched over and walking on all fours. While on the far right is one who is walking on 2 feet. This instantly recognizable and universally understandable image immediately makes many think this is how modern humans evolved. But this is wrong. It is often misinterpreted that evolution is a one-dimensional process that will gradually and predictably transform organisms into better versions of their ancestors, with Homo sapiens as the ultimate goal. But in reality, evolution does not produce species linearly. It is bush-like, with branches of varying sizes and lengths, which can grow into new branches or be cut back by the pruning shears of extinction. Nor does evolution produce better or higher-level organisms. These species emerged and survived through a combination of adaptation to their environments and chance, not by passively accumulating improvements over time. The point is clearer when you look closely at this full version of the image. It was only meant to show that these species once existed on our planet, but there is not a linear relationship among these cousins or relatives of modern humans. Many of them may have emerged at similar time ranges and coexisted with modern humans. But only modern humans have survived until this day. Why are we so unique? One hypothesis was that modern humans were the smartest of all. But that may not be the full picture. Among one of these extinct branches, one of them was called Neanderthals, which almost appeared on Earth at the same time as modern humans, but they went extinct around 20 to 30,000 years ago. Neanderthals have slightly bigger brains even than modern humans. Supposedly, they might be even smarter than us. Why would they go extinct while we have survived? So being smart is not the only reason here. To better understand why humans are unique among all the animals, let's go over some distinct features of ourselves. First, walking upright. Humans are almost the only ones that walk upright among all the animals. Even though a limited number of animals can also walk upright, they either don't have a choice because they have non-proportionally short forelegs or can only briefly walk on 2 feet. Some people may postulate that we must walk upright because we need to use our hands. But when you look at monkeys or pandas, they also use their forelegs quite intensively. However, they don't walk upright, so this theory is not entirely convincing. Second, devolved muscles. If humans truly evolved from apes, then it's hard to explain how our muscles devolved so much compared to them. Take monkeys as an example. Even if they sit idle all day and do nothing except eat and sleep, their muscles would not weaken. The same goes for tigers, lions, and other common animals. They don't need to work out or lift weight to keep fit and maintain their muscles. But humans are different. Without exercise, a person's muscles would be weakened in a couple of months. Immediately after birth, animal babies are already somewhat strong. They can use their muscles to some extent, but human babies are very fragile after birth and need to exercise in order to gain those muscular skills over a long time. Yet, a grown-up person can hardly compete with animals regarding speed or strength. Third, fewer body hairs. Think about all the mammals living on land, most of them have abundant body hairs. But human is an exception. What's more baffling, is that even though we don't have lots of body hair, we have very long hair on our heads. If we don't cut our hair, it will keep growing. This is very unusual if you compare us with the other animals, such as tigers or lions. They don't need a haircut as we do. Even our close relatives, apes or monkeys, don't need a haircut either. From the evolutionary sense, we can't find a satisfactory explanation as to why only humans have such unique hair. For example, Among one of our evolutionary cousins, the Homo erectus went extinct due to climate change during an ice age. This begs the question, wouldn't it make sense for us to grow more body hairs to withstand the cold weather? So it is really odd why humans have little hair compared to animals. Also, humans have an abundance of sweat glands compared to other animals, which is also strange since sweating facilitates the heat dissipation. Because planet Earth was cold for most of the time in the past 1 million years. Suppose human bodies evolved to adapt to the environment, it would be more advantageous to keep the body hair, isn't it? Still, in reality, it is the contrary. Fourth, the white sclera. The white sclera is very rare in nature. Based on the eyeball's pure biological functionality, the sclera's white color seem unnecessary at first glance. After all, we don't usually see the same white parts or a high proportion of white parts in other animals' eyes. Then why are humans so special? A hypothesis is that the white sclera is key to our communication. Because humans use eye gaze in social activities, including advanced learning, coordinating complex tasks, and transmitting important information. We often say eyes are the window to our soul. This is primarily attributed to the fact that humans have white sclera. Because of the large proportion of the white sclera in our eyeballs, we may detect people's emotions and intentions from a distance away, even without verbal communication. Fifth, language.
Seize the day. Gather ye rosebud while ye may. Why does the writer use these lines?
Because he's in a hurry.
No! Ding! Thanks for playing anyway. Because we are food for worms, lads. Because believe it or not, each and every one of us in this room is one day going to stop breathing, turn cold, and die.
Human language is unique compared to all other forms of animal communication. The concept of language is far richer than mere vocabulary but is abstract with grammar. With language, humans can communicate in great depth and with sophistication. Animals can make sounds and express limited information, but they cannot communicate as complexly as humans do. Neither solitary nor social animals have language because it is not essential for their survival. They just need signals in the form of sounds or chemicals to communicate and coordinate. It is genuinely baffling why only humans are so different that we evolved language and developed it to such a complex level. Could it be possible that there existed a critical moment in ancient times that triggered the first occurrence of language? If so, what would that critical moment be? We don't know the answer. The realm of language is far beyond communicating basic facts. Lies are also a natural part of the language. We can even use language to envision our future. These distinct characteristics of language have differentiated humans from animals too. Sixth, documenting. This is also a trait that separates humans and animals. Humans would try to record what had happened using pictures, symbols, sculptures, or languages. If they believed they had seen an alien, they would create a sculpture or draw a picture to let their children know. Or they simply use word of mouth or writing, and the stories or experiences would be passed down from generation to generation. The fact that humans can document enables them to remember things not just by their brains. This is very different from animals. Animals also can remember things, but they just keep the memories and learning to themselves, without the means to store and accumulate the knowledge and pass it to their offspring. Even our close relatives, gorillas, are not capable of recording and passing the knowledge to their children. Therefore, every baby gorilla was born without knowing the intelligence accumulated by their ancestors, if there was any. Without this inheritance, they would not be able to build or advance their civilization. Because humans can document and inherit, newborns would quickly learn about their ancestors' accumulated knowledge and experiences. The civilization of the entire human race has been advancing step by step, generation by generation. The use of language and documentation may be the two most notable differences between humans and animals, and these two abilities both come from our brains. How are our brains different from animals' brains? From the surface, human brains are not necessarily the best in every aspect. For example, whales and dolphins have far more neurons in their brains than ours. Also, whales and elephants have much bigger brains than ours. Not only that, but our brains have also set some limitations on ourselves. For example, if we don't teach our newborns language, they will not be able to speak throughout their lives. Sometimes, under horrible circumstances, scientists found out that children raised with little to no human contact were not able to learn language even after rehabilitation. They may pick up some simple sign languages and can learn some words, but they won't understand grammar. A critical age exists for humans, and as soon as they pass this age, their brains would lose the ability to learn the language for good. If you use a computer as an analogy, you may say humans do not have the best hardware, namely, our muscles, organs, reproductive system, and so on. We can't compete with animals regarding senses, visions, hearing, reflex, strength, and speed. On a relatively cold planet, we don't have enough body hair, sweat a lot, and are very vulnerable to UV. However, inside this somewhat weak body, we have a very complex mind. We can do logical calculations, we can imagine, we know the language, we can document, and so on. It's like we have the most advanced operating system, and the best software despite the non-optimal hardware. If apes could evolve into humans, why couldn't the other animals evolve into more intelligent beings? Elephants, dolphins, mice, reptiles, and birds are all smart in their own ways. Could they become humans' counterparts one day? They also have advanced brains and their bodies are well adapted to our planet, so it's not impossible. The history of human civilization is only a few thousand years, which is extremely short compared to the millions of years the other animals have lived on our planet. Imagine if these animals could evolve and develop their own civilization someday. The process might be just as quick, who knows? Suppose humans' advanced intelligence evolved naturally rather than being received from a higher level being. Then the question is, why did this only happen to us? Are we really the only ones to have gained advanced intelligence? Or are we truly the first one?